Welcome everyone to our podcast, Music in the Key of Life.
What's happening, y'all?
How y'all been?
Oh, what's up, man?
How y'all been, man? How y'all feeling?
What's
up, y'all?
What's going on, C? No, what's up, B3? How y'all feeling today?
I'm feeling good, bro.
Good,
Really good, man.
Nice.
It's been a minute since I've seen y'all on the podcast.
I know. Last time we was here, we was talking about some real juicy stuff when it came to music and entertainment, and we were talking about the state of the industry, Michael Jackson, and you were talking about artists, female artists and male artists, who was the more dominant, things like that. It was some real juicy stuff, y'all.
Yeah.
And we want to continue on that discussion, y'all. We want to continue on going down that road, going down memory lane on it, when it comes to music, you know what I mean, and things of that nature. Basically what happened to art, those great R&B groups and great R&B artists. I mean, not to say that there's not any great artists out there now.
Right.
I mean, there are some great artists, like we were talking about, like Chris Brown and the SZAs and Other World and et cetera. But man, when we talk about the 90s per se, and even going back further than that, I mean, you had great groups back then, didn't we, B3?
I totally agree with you, young phenom. Yeah, man, it's great. It's wild to even think that even like a group like B2K.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
the boys right there.
B2K was
them boys was heat, man.
I remember when they came up, and even before them, the one group Immature, but in the C notes here, but I remember when B2 came out, man, they were especially amongst our community, they were really like it.
Yeah.
I mean, if I talk to a couple of young ladies around that time, probably more closer to your age, young phenom, man, they couldn't. They were ecstatic. They couldn't even. It was like B2K. That was
right.
Pandemonium.
Yeah, I remember that album.
What was your main group around when you coming up? What do you think your group was?
Man, look, we can start with B2K, Immature, like you said, Mint Condition. Come on now, we can't forget about Boyz II Men.
Boyz II Men.
Boyz II Men. We can go on and on. New Edition, Silk.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Well, Silk, Silk came out when I was still in high school.
Yeah. Happy days are here again. Honey. Boom.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
You mentioned Boyz II Men. Boyz II Men came out.
Yeah.
They might have came out when I was maybe a freshman. Motown Philly back again.
Motown Philly.
Yeah.
Motown Philly back again. I mean,
Yeah.
so
Stuff was hard.
I might have been just not going to high school when that came out.
That's boss.
And who was the other young group that Mike Bivins kind of had that was with Boyz II Men, his whole little circle of guys? Remember he had Uncle Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, man.
But he had
As yet.
nobody even remember Uncle Sam.
Nobody remembers it. But Uncle Sam was hot,
He was
man.
nice. He
Yeah.
was nice. Who was the young group's name? Why can't I think of the
Oh,
name?
you're talking about, there's a couple, man. You got ABC.
ABC. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Another bad creation.
Yeah.
How do we forget them?
Exactly.
And what's the other? Candy.
You are my world. I mean, that's New Edition, of course. That's New Edition to them boys, man. I mean,
and then another group took that and said, "Can my love have you?"
Right. I mean, you had so many groups back then. I mean,
Troop. Troop.
You know, y'all forgot
Can't
about
forget about
Troop.
Well,
Oh,
shit,
my
I was in middle school when Troop came out.
Oh my
Them
goodness.
dudes, man.
Yeah, I was
talking
middle
about
school. That
you
was,
know, when Babyface.
Yeah.
You know, he was doing his thing. You know,
Right.
Babyface was, you know, he was wreaking shot, man.
Yeah, man.
Well,
Wreaking havoc.
I shared I shared a post with Young Phenom about Babyface. I don't know if you got a chance to see that
I
post.
did.
Okay.
But it just basically was showing Babyface singing the songs that he wrote live in the concert. Like, oh yeah, I wrote this song. Oh yeah, I wrote Tony Braxton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was writing hit after hit after hit.
TLC, man.
He was writing TLC. He was writing for Johnny Gill.
Boyz II Men. End of the road. He wrote that song.
I mean, everybody knows that he was writing for Tony Braxton.
Tony Braxton.
That was his girl right there.
I mean, he was doing some big things that during that era. You know,
he wrote for Michael Jackson,
there, man. Back in that day, and back in that time,
Wow.
you know, that's when they was
and they always hits.
really getting down to the real nitty gritty with, you know, those harmonies, man.
Yes.
And the lyrical content and everything in there, man. They was blowing it off the roof, man.
Right.
I mean, they was bringing it. You know, because when you think about Tony Braxton, you think about Boyz II Men. Now that we come to the end of the road, still I can't let go. It's so natural. You belong to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those songs, man, hit you in your heart, man. Them were the ones that, you know, that's when the females was just melting, man. You know, you heard songs like that.
Right.
You know, from them, from Silk. What about KC and JoJo?
Yep. Can't forget about Jodeci.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
Jodeci,
Come and
man.
talk to me.
Yep.
Stay.
Yeah. Forever my lady.
Forever my lady.
Forever.
You know? but you gotta admit, those dudes, that's right.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I mean that was just like a signature riff right there.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna tell you one song that's
lasting jams.
I'm gonna tell you
lasted long on the charts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you one song that tripped me out when I realized that Babyface wrote the song. It was a song by Karen White called Superwoman.
Ooh.
How the heck can a brother write a song like that
for a woman?
I mean, I thought a woman wrote that song.
Well, you know, Babyface is known for writing some hits for women.
Mm-hmm.
Babyface will write a woman some hits, man.
Right.
If Babyface get there, man, and had the women getting in their feelings, man, and they get to singing, man. You know, like I said, Tony Braxton, man.
Exactly.
Right. But I wanna.
One of my favorite Bobby Brown songs he did.
Right.
Every Little Step.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Step.
Every little step I take, you will be there. Every little step I take, you'll be together. Every little step I take, we'll be. Hey.
So can I ask you guys a question? Because I seen somebody write this in the comments. They said that R. Kelly put the R in R and Babyface put the B in R&B. Do you agree with that statement?
Hey, you know what?
Do you agree with
talking
that
about
statement?
two of the greatest writer, producer, males in the industry, man. Those two dudes was dominant.
They were.
You know,
But-
those two dudes were dominant.
But we're gonna leave that for you guys to decide. You know, if you're liking this content, make sure you guys, you know, hit that like, share, subscribe button, and make sure y'all hit that notification button too to stay updated with our latest, you know, drops or latest, you know, videos that we drop for you guys. But we want you to comment. We want you to, you know, comment on that. Do you agree with the statement that B3 made there? Do you think that, you know, R. Kelly is the, you know, he's the R and Babyface is the B. You know, I mean, do you agree with that statement? I mean, it's legit. But I want to, you know, go into deeper to topic what we were discussing last time, guys. Because when you bring up Babyface, you bring up a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? You just bring up a lot of history when it comes to the skits and the hit making behind a lot of the great groups that we were listening to at that time.
Yeah, you talk about one thing that I like what you said. They were groups.
Exactly.
You know. So
we want to touch upon what happened to those groups.
Exactly.
What happened to just great groups coming together, and specifically the R&B genre. I mean, we don't see it a lot in modern day music now, especially when it comes to R&B. I mean, you might see groups, you know, with like, you know, country, or, you know, you might see maybe you know, hip hop groups, maybe, but more so now than anything in today's music is more so about features now, right?
Yeah, but you know, here's the thing about that, what you said, you know, what happened to that, because you're talking about some of the best music that was out there. Mm-hmm. And now you look at the industry and it's like kind of like when you heard Boyz II Men, it was distinctive. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They set themselves apart from just everybody else, and so did Silk. Those were dominant guys who could really bring it when they performed, because they had different guys in their group that fulfilled alto, soprano, baritone, tenor, verse tenor, mm-hmm. you know, and some of them even done, you know, bass. You know, I can't get down with that note, but you know, they covered the whole spectrum, and they didn't have to use all the gadgets and stuff that are now being used, because dudes can really breathe, mm-hmm. you know. And you know, do y'all think that, you know, we need that kind of music right now? That's a question, and I want you guys to comment on that out here, because it's not heard that often in the mainstream industry of music right now. I don't hear that very often. I hear a lot of hip hop, I hear a lot of combinations, and I hear a lot of collaborations, guys that are doing what they're doing, and nothing against that, but I'm just saying, what do y'all think? Do you think y'all want that, more of that good? Because that was good. Mm-hmm. And I don't hear much of that right now. Are they gone? Are they gone now? Are they gone forever? I mean, because I don't. And do any of you guys hear that any more, like in the way that, you know, that we're discussing with those artists that were bringing it, like the R. Kellys, the Babyface, you know, the Jodeci, you know, Mary J. Blige. You know, I mean, I don't even hear Mary J. Blige that often now. You know, Jade. You know, those were female groups that were just they're off the hook. You know, I mean, you know, even Destiny's Child. You know, I mean, In Vogue. You know, come on now.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask the panel this question, because as Breeze was articulating all the things he was saying, something popped in my head, my spirit, and I just wanted to just get your opinions, and also your opinions out there, you know, all the subscribers and everybody that's going to be checking out this podcast. So from an R&B perspective, when we talk about groups, R&B, okay, mm-hmm. is it because that R&B is in this box? Because if you think about the groups, now you said, where did the groups go away? That was one of the questions. Where did the groups go? Where did this type of music go? Right. So to me, I think back to maybe the late 90s, early 2000s, when the boy bands of more the pop culture kind of came on
Well, let me stop you right there because you're talking about. Now, I mentioned Destiny Child,
Right.
but it's like Destiny Child was still being heard when you heard Beyonce.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she took it to another level, but I mean, because she was the lead singer of that girl group, but she's prominent right now. She still got that same flavor, It seemed like, that has never went away, because of somebody like her.
Right.
And I'd like to see a Toni Braxton, Anita Baker, come out and do something new. I mean, I would like to see that, I would like to see a Michael Jackson type of entertainer. I mean, I know Breezy's like that, but he's not the same as King to me. What do y'all got to say about that?
Well, here I'll say this, and then I want to hear Chris's opinion on this. But to argue that, when you talking about like a person like a Chris Brown, I think he is, and well, I think a lot of that had to do with image more so. And when he had the thing happen with Rihanna, more so at the beginning, I won't even say beginning, but when he started to, get in the prime of his career and that incident happened with him and Rihanna with the domestic case.
Right.
I think that kind of affected, how his endorsements.
It kind of slowed him down.
And it kind of affected
his momentum down.
It kind of affected how, he was perceived in the public. So over time, his image got changed to more of this bad boy persona. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when he first started, they wanted him to be this little clean guy, kid, clean kid, full of joy, could dance and sing. He was more marketable towards like the Disney type of market space.
Right. Yeah.
But when that happened, that kind of nobody wanted to mess with him. And to this day, that kind of haunts somebody like that. I think, my personal opinion, he is that type of artist. And if something like that didn't happen, who's to say what he could really be?
Oh, I'm not saying that he's not hot. I mean, he's hot.
Right.
I mean, Breezy, man.
Right.
What a performance.
Right.
I mean, what a performance.
But I want you. So, what do you think of it? In terms of the R&B and. What happened to the groups, and what, in your opinion, is there even, do you even see any future for the genre R&B and groups coming together again? Do you think that could be something that could happen? You know what I mean? In today's the way the structure of the industry is.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, there's definitely a couple questions that we want to go back to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are they gone? Are they gone forever? Right? They're not gone forever, right? And do they still exist? Are they still around? A lot of these artists are still around. The Boyz II Men, the Jodecis, the Babyfaces, the Anita Bakers, and Mint Conditions, and all of these guys, and B2K, like we started out with. A lot of these guys are still out, but the way that the music industry is now, they don't really tend to put their attention on artists such as boy bands or male R&B groups, things of that nature. A lot of that has been a lot of those guys have been taken away from the mainstream, and so they really have to do everything independent now. So if you're not really digging deep and you're not searching on YouTube to see what these guys are doing, you won't find them. You think these guys retired, they're at home sitting down eating popcorn,
absolutely,
sipping on Pepsi and watching movies. But like we talked about on the last podcast, a lot of artists that they're really focusing on more so is a lot of the hip hop artists, a lot of the female singers. If you're singing any type of R&B now, it seems to me that a lot of the mainstream, like the Universals and just a lot of the major record labels, they're pushing a lot of the female artists that sing.
Right.
Only females.
Right.
So But to your question, not to go all the way over the mountain and through the woods, man, you know, these guys are still around, man. You know, they're still around, but there has to be an open platform so a lot of, you know, the fans of the past and potential like future fans could see, you know, who these guys are, man. Because, man, what we talked about when we brought up a lot of these artists, man, we started smiling, man, because each of these artists, they had their own sound, you know, like when you really listen to them on the radio, they all didn't sound the same. You knew when Boyz II Men came on, you knew that was Boyz II Men. You knew when, even, listen to that, how about The Boys? A lot of people keep on forgetting about that. B3 brought up something where Babyface was singing a lot of his the songs that he wrote. The Boys, man, we can't forget about them. They came on that, down my heart, I call you baby on the phone. I don't even know the words, but that, man, that song was hot, man. And you know that they were like one of those teeny bopper groups back in the 90s, man, and they were hot. Right. Michael Jackson fell in love with those guys. So that's my opinion on it. I think that, you know, a lot of the guys, I think a lot of R&B, the groups, I think they're still around, but it's just they're not pushed out in the mainstream, and a lot of people have to search for them now, man, which is unfortunate.
Well, you know, I like to piggyback off of that because a lot of those bands are still out, and they don't get the, you know, public relations and marketing that they should get, you know, because they're still fire.
Right.
And I mean, there are other R&B bands that are out there, but I mean, y'all wouldn't know because they're independent. You know,
exactly. They don't get the backing of the record labels,
and they're not getting that backing. They're not getting that marketing. They're not getting that promotion that they deserve. But they're out there and they're fire. And I say this to you guys: there are a lot of independent labels right in your city, and what y'all should do is don't diss them because they, you know, local or whatever. Go check them out. And don't, you know, just toss them to the side, man. Give them their true merit. Because I done seen a lot of independent acts and they are fire. And they just don't get the respect because they don't have, you know, the promo. But there's a lot of acts that are coming out, you know. I mean, there's the acts that are on the new 2024 Millennium Tour. Marion, you know, Ray J, Sammy, Bobby V, Pleasure, you know, those are acts that are on that tour. So I mean, they out there. You know.
I was about to say those aren't. I mean, those are guys from that era, from the B2K era.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you bring up that tour because recently, I don't know if you guys seen the clip when there was if you guys aren't know as the audience that there was a whole challenge going on for that song that Chris Brown dropped. It Depends, and everybody was doing the dance, you know, or whatnot. But B2K
still doing it.
Yeah, B2K got together and did the challenge, man. Everybody went crazy on that because, you know, if you know the story of B2K, man, they had a lot of, you know, friction that went on, you know, after they, I believe after they got done with that
the management company that they were with.
Yeah, but it was after that. It was after their second album or whatever, and they did You Got Served. They did that soundtrack, and then, you know, everything went downhill from that, you know, with that group.
Right.
So everybody was excited to see them. You know, they've been on and off, going getting back together. So when they did that, everybody was excited to see that.
And that brought up a lot of nostalgia for people who love that movie.
Exactly. You got served. You got served.
And along with them, you know, there's the girl bands. I mean, SWV. You know, they're doing their thing. You know, Escape. I've seen them on, you know, some tours. I mean, they are awesome.
Right.
You know, they're still doing their thing. Trey Songz. You know.
Yeah. Trey Songz is doing his thing right now. Him, you mentioned Ray J, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned Ray J because I know him. There was some other girl. I'm not sure the other girl's name. All three of them they did a song together. I have a clip of that as well too.
I just seen what you call them.
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah.
They were at a halftime show.
Right.
In basketball.
Right.
They was getting down.
Right.
And then, Jagged Edge, they celebrated their 25-year anniversary, their album, J.E. Heartbreak,
Yep.
Classic.
So they're out there. So what do y'all think? Y'all want to hear this stuff? I mean, like, share, subscribe, and comment. And please comment on, what you're hearing from us. And go to our trbmagic.com website. We are an independent label.
Ride High Records. Yeah.
And check out our products. We have LPs, Give Me All You Got, our EP, Back on Track.
Don't be sorry.
Our EP, Don't Be Sorry.
Yeah, Be My Girl for Remix.
Yeah.
And we do music ourselves. We are an R&B group, but we also, hit upon other genres and things like that.
Yeah.
We have a beat store on trbmagic.com that you guys can also check out as well. We make just great music as well. So, when it comes to this subject, we are definitely very, very passionate when it comes to that. So,
Exactly.
like Breezy said, make sure you guys subscribe, comment what you think, and also don't forget to hit, once you subscribe, hit that notification button so you can stay notified for our latest drops. And yeah, guys. I mean, that's a great topic right there. I mean, when you talk about R&B, you talk about groups. You know what I mean?
Those groups. Man.
Exactly. I mean, I think when it comes to that, when it comes to the R&B groups and what happened, I want to say, the groups really stopped around the 2005 up to 2006, because you had groups like Day 26 that were still trying to come out. You had B5, but they Day 26 had a couple hits, but they didn't really hit. You know what I mean?
And they don't really like that.
And I think it was.
We was talking about.
And I think it was more so because, like we said, talking about, the record companies weren't really pushing that.
They weren't willing to.
They weren't willing to push that. It's all about what you're willing to put your money into and what you believe in.
But what do y'all want is the question. Y'all miss that music. I mean, compared to what you have. I mean, and all the genres of music that you have out here, because that music that we're discussing right now is still fire.
Right.
And I'm saying the music that you have right now is fire. I mean, and I can't deny that the music is fire, but that what we are discussing is also fire. Right. And I'm wondering, do you miss that compared to all the other genres that we hear right now? And that's the question that we want to discuss.
Right. On the next episode of Music in the Key of Life. We'll see you soon.
We'll see you. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. And please visit our trbmagic.com website. Check out our products. You take a listen. Cop a few. We'll see you next time.